Welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to edit a photo of a zebra together. But before we dive into the workflow, I just wanted to remind you to just subscribe to the channel to encourage me to make more content for YouTube. And please drop me a like on the video if you found it useful. Let's just dive into the workflow. Myself the challenge to edit this photo that has a very flat light, and to make this photo stunning. I love the position of the zebras and I want to give them justice, so let's edit this photo together. For a further challenge, I decided to edit this photo and keep it in color. The easy process would have been to turn it into black and white, but I want to give myself the challenge of making something fantastic here, so let's dive right into the process. First thing is to do the basic adjustments. Adding a preset that I'm going to very quickly adjust and dropping the shadows like so. Also, I want to fix the balance because I think it's a little bit off so that we have something nice to work with. I'm also going to increase the contrast quickly. Very good. Make the white stand out because we want the zebras to shine. Okay, dropping the blacks as well. Very nice. On the curve, I think I want to intensify the dark tones here. Good. I think it's a good base already. It's a little bit too yellow. Let's make it a little bit more blue. I think it's not bad. Okay, now let's dive into the masking part. On the masking, I'm going to select the background already straight away. And I want to make it more blurry so that my zebras will blend in better. I see at the bottom that the belly of the zebra has been selected, so to correct this, I'm clicking the mask, clicking the minus sign here, selecting a brush and increasing the size of the brush. I'm gonna brush over the areas where I don't want the effect to be applied. Good. Okay, we're going to go into the texture. I'm going to remove some texture to make it more blurry, bring some minus clarity, and we're going to add some veil over the photo, giving it like a whitish effect, making it milky. Okay, cool. I'm also going to drop the sharpness as well to really create something blurry. Going back on the photo now, I think it's a little bit too blue. I'm gonna go back into adding a little bit warmth to it because it feels like we lost some features on the zebras. I want to create some dusty effect. I'm going to go in the mixing tools and in the tint and the hue. This is how you have it in English, hue. I'm gonna make sure that the yellows are towards orange. And look at those trees in the background. Here we go. Now correcting the white balance again, I found it a little bit too warm. Find an in-between here. I like it. Good. Going back on the masking tools, I'm going to select the subject. Select those zebras. I want to increase their contrast. I want them to stand out. Okay, and I want the black on them to be sharper. Good. I'm going to close up the photo a little bit to give it more depth. Selecting a gradual filter from the bottom up around here. I'm going again to deselect the subject because I don't want that effect to apply on the zebras. To drop the exposure. And I like the depth that it's giving. And I'm gonna keep on dropping it until I'm satisfied with the shadow it's creating. Now, as you can see, it's creating this dark spot here. I don't like the fact that it does that. So I'm gonna create a brush and I'm going to remove the effect that is applying on the belly of the zebra. We will add some shadows there later on, but I don't want this strong effect to apply like this. Going back on the mask, I think we can intensify it a little bit more. Okay, perfect. Great, I like this. Now I want to accentuate the attention on the zebra, so I'm gonna use a gradual filter again. And I'm gonna drag it and Make sure that it only concerns this part of the photo. I want to make it wider and dropping the exposure. Again, I want to close up the photo and keep the focus on the zebras and drag the attention to the center of the photo. I think we can also drop the shadows there. I like the fact that we're closing this side of the photo while keeping the center more lit up. Okay, if I compare from the before and after so far, this is what we have. It's already a lot better. Now we're going to play with some sort of dodge and burn. I'm going to choose a brush and I'm first going to drop the exposure on this brush around -50. I'm going to accentuate any natural shadows that would occur on the zebra to create some depth on it. Now that we've enhanced the bone structure of the zebra, I'm going to take a brush again and do the reverse, increase the exposure slightly and brush over any light area that I wish to boost on the photo. Also want to increase the dust on them. I like the fact that they're a little bit rusty earth tones on them, so I'm gonna just add a little bit of saturation on my brush. I'm also going to do so on the forehead right here, on the temple, and on the neck of the zebra. This is what we have so far. A lot more depth, make it more interesting. Now I want the light to look a lot better on the photo. So I'm going to use a radial filter, place it very widely behind the zebras. I'm going to deselect the subject so that the zebras are not touched by this radial filter. Doing so, I'm going to increase the exposure on this radial filter. I'm also going to add some veil on the photo so that the background looks more diffused and milky. I'm also going to remove some clarity while adding a little bit of warmth. I want to repeat the process with the trees behind the collar of the zebra right there and do the same thing. I'm going to subtract the zebra from the selection. I'm also going to increase the exposure to make sure that those trees blend in more. And I'm also going to remove the clarity on them and add some veil to have this white milky effect on it. For the finishing touch, I'm going to use a radial filter again. This time I'm going to make sure it applies on the zebra because I want them to have the sun-kissed effect and mimic him a golden hour. Only having this part of the face of the zebra and the top of the hip of the other one, I will also increase the exposure here to create a fake halo, but very slightly. And I'm also going to add a little bit more warmth, very slightly. Now I feel we have some nice dimension. The only thing that distracts my attention from the photo is the lower part on the belly here. I'm going to use a brush again, dropping the exposure with this brush. I'm gonna increase the size of the brush to make it more natural, and I'm going to brush the bottom here, which I think it's much better. Next thing, I'm going to use a brush and I'm going to increase the contrast on the brush as well as sharpening. I'm gonna go over precisely on the edges of these zebra because I feel, especially around the nose, that we got too much blurriness coming from what I did in the background. I want him to stand out here. Now let's compare it to the photo we started from. I really like the fact that we have some very interesting light that was created here. I feel like we really see the bone structure of the zebra. The light seems very interesting. Some story is happening here compared to the other one, and I really like this effect that we created and the challenge of having it in color compared to making it black and white. I hope you found that video useful. I hope you learned something. Drop me a like on the video if you liked it and if you want me to make more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!